Welcome to the 2020-2021 virtual substitute training. There is a link in the email that I sent to you to two different forms. One is a training sign-in and the other one is a sub-acknowledgement form. You will need to do both of those after watching this training in order to be added to our list for substitutes this year. So obviously things are quite different this year, so I've added some things and that I need everyone to kind of pay close attention to. Here's our agenda. I talked about the two forms. We're going to go over procedures and guidelines, and then if there are any questions, you can certainly send me an email asking, and I'll do my best to answer you in a timely manner. So some changes for our districts this year with COVID-19. There are some new procedures and protocols. We are on a 4-hour session hybrid schedule. Group 1 will be attending school Monday and Tuesday. Group 2 will be attending school Thursday and Friday. We will have a full virtual day on Wednesday. There will be no jobs available on that day. If you are taking a job, it is with the assumption you will be going into the building. When you go into the building, masks are required the entire time you are there. Social distance from the students and staff whenever possible. Obviously, if you're the teacher of the students in that class, you are moving around the room and that's fine. We are just asking in certain common areas that you are taking precautions everywhere you can. If you do not feel well, please do not come in and take the job. Please just call the school and tell them you are not feeling well, so you will not be coming in that day and we will make it work. You will be staying with the students for the entire day. Our in-class days will focus primarily on English, language arts, and math, and we will be doing about 2 lessons per day of each of those. A schedule will be laid out for you, lesson plans telling you kind of how the day will go when you are there. All staff and substitute teachers will take temperatures as you come in each day, and they will be recorded. So I mentioned before our hybrid schedule. Monday and Tuesday is Group 1, Wednesday is a full virtual and cleaning day, and Thursday and Friday is Group 2. The classrooms are split in half out by alphabet, and that's how we got our Group 1 and Group 2. So the class sizes will be roughly in the 10 area. Maybe less, maybe a couple more, just based off of the number of students in that grade level. If you are a returning substitute after 1 year of absence, if this applies to you, if you were previously subbed in our district but did not substitute last year, you may not be eligible to start it in September. If this applies to you, please reach out. This is not for newly hired subs. It's only for people that went inactive last year. Legal information. Working as a substitute is a per diem position. If there is ever a time that we feel it's no longer in the benefit of our students to have you employed, you will be notified and removed from the list. Arrest reporting requirements. If by some chance you are arrested, you have to please make sure that you let the superintendent's office know within 14 calendar days of that. Just legal requirements that we need to make sure we tell you about. Our schools and administrators, there were some changes from last year. All 4 assistant principals did move to new schools. Bayville School, Mr. Reeder, Ms. Gallagher. Potter School, Ms. Semino and Mr. McShaffrey. Clarby Worth, Mrs. Burton and Mr. Waldron, and BTES, Mr. Prima and Mr. Conforti. Superintendent, Dr. Roselli. Director of Curriculum, Dr. Zito. Director of Special Services, Mrs. Vieira. And preschool supervisor, Amy Coppinger. These are the people that you can see in each of the buildings if you have any questions or concerns. Frontline is still the system we will be using. Calls will go out. You can use the online system as well. Make sure you can log in. If you have any issues logging in, please reach out to the board office. Contact times and procedures for Frontline. These are the times that the calls will roughly go out. If you have any questions, again, you can reach out to the board office or ask each of the schools, assistant principals or principals. This is a pretty cool system, so if you haven't used it before, you will get information on how to log in and get yourself in the system. Payments. All substitutes must have direct deposit, and payments will be made if you work between the 1st and the 15th of the month, you get paid on the 30th. If you work between the 16th and the 31st, you will get paid on the following 15th. All days worked in June will be paid on June 30th. The next slides we're going to talk about deals with harassment, intimidation, and bullying. My best advice would be, if you hear something, you see something that just doesn't sit right with you, please just notify either the school counselor or the administrators as soon as you possibly can. This way we can start our investigation and make sure that things are going the way they should. Um, Harassment, intimidation, and bullying is something that we need to take very seriously. It can be something that significantly impacts the students and their ability to learn while in school. So if it is doing that, it is something that we need to be able to take control of. It can be a form of communication that can be reasonably perceived as being motivated either by an actual or perceived characteristic, must take place on school grounds, bus, or school-sponsored function, or must substantially disrupt or interfere with orderly operation of the school or the rights of other students. The second point, there is a lot of social media issues that will lead into school that we also must know about if it's something that you hear about. There is a policy on the website under forms and policies that you can read over, and these are just some of the highlights of the policy. Basically stating, if you become aware of it, please verbally tell the building administrator or the designee on that same day. You might have to write submit a written form telling us about the incident if needed, and just letting us know as soon as possible is the most important part. Next slides we're going to go over is affirmative action and non-discrimination. This again is a policy of the Board of Education in Berkeley Township that everybody is granted equal access in order to work. If at all you do feel discriminated against, or you don't feel, if you witness it or not feeling correct, please let one of the 3 affirmative action officers at the bottom of the screen know, Mrs. Burton, Mr. McShaffrey, or Dr. Zito. Staff dress code. You are expected to wear masks. It is something that we have to enforce, and we also are allowing you to wear protective gear that is going to be suitable for being in the building. Also some highlights: no tank tops, no flip-flops or sneakers, no jeans, comfortable attire if you're in for phys ed, if that is the case. School calendar, inclement weather is all going to be found on our district website and also through our Facebook page. If anything does come up, those are the 2 best places to be looking for it. Reporting procedures. These are the hybrid school hours for the 4 schools this year. These are basically a 4-hour session that we've had in the past, but please look at them carefully, and those will be noted in Frontline when you guys are picking up jobs. All schools have security procedures in place at the front doors, so please enter through those front doors. The other doors will be locked. Make sure you sign in the main office. You will be taking a temperature and recording that temperature each time you come in, and procedures for each building will be given to you as you go into the main office. This is for any teachers, aides, or paraprofessionals. You will just be following the procedures of the homeroom teacher or the teacher that you are with. Review the schedule for your assigned position. You may switch classrooms throughout the day. This year we are trying not to do that, but it is possible. You may also be a one-to-one with the student, and just make sure you're collaborating with the teacher to help in whichever way they might need. If there are any accidents, please, in case of an emergency, please call the nurse or the main office and let us know. Do not attempt to move any students who is severely injured, making sure everyone else is safe around them. And you might be required to fill out an accident report form depending on what might have happened. Sensitive issues, because these do come up in elementary school or really anywhere. If the students are bringing up things along the lines of religious or political or personal discussions, those should be left out of the classroom. That includes you in your discussions. Any health-related topics should be referred to the nurse. Questionable material, sensitive issues, those things should all be left and redirected, making sure that we're focusing on the academics while we're there. If you do have children in the school, please do not present or bring to your teacher or try to discuss with their teacher during that time. It's not a parent-teacher conference. It's a time for them to be working with their students, and you be working with the students as well. General procedures and guidelines. Just be flexible. This year more than ever, we have things that are changing on a daily basis, so we just need to make sure that you are flexible, knowing that when you pick up a job, you have a job for the day. It just might not be where you picked it up for. Reviewing the plans that are left by the teacher. If you do not have plans or something's not there, please check with the other teachers or the main office and we can definitely help you out. Checking in with the school nurse is always important, just allergies, medications, or anything going on right now. You may have a duty that you are required to attend, so please check that in the plans. Taking attendance and completing any exercises that are normal and routine to those classes. Do not leave the students alone in the classroom at any time. Cell phone use is not permitted while the students are around. If you're on your lunch, which we actually don't have throughout the day right now in a hybrid schedule, so please just no cell phone usage. Social media not permitted at all while you're working. If your homeroom teacher must remain with the class during their recess time, collaborating with the other teachers and returning any keys or visitor badges before you leave. The Hall Pass is a new program this year, district-wide. It is going to be something that we utilize in order to track the students and making sure that we're not having overcrowding in the bathrooms if we're sending them to the nurse or sending them to the main office. This way you can kind of control the movement throughout the building. We will help you with that on the days that you might be in order to sign the kids out. Next slide we'll go over is about discipline. Reviewing the classroom rules with the students at the beginning of the day and following through with whatever type of procedures they may already have in place. Making sure that you're trying to do everything you can to handle any minor disciplinary issues. If it is something that requires more attention, please let the office know. Refrain from any yelling or singling out of students in front of the group. If you need to talk to someone, talking to them to the side is the best case. If you need assistance in removing a student from the classroom, please call the office. It's always a good idea to leave a note at the end of the day for the teacher just to give them specifics. But we do ask, please don't write any students' names down on there just to be held out of liability for anything. Let's go into the last thing is the safety procedures. Each classroom is going to have an emergency folder with a class list and emergency contact information and red and green signs with the classroom number on there. Those will go with you with any safety drills that we might be doing. If you are leaving the classroom, just so you know, the classroom doors should remain locked throughout the day, and there is a magnet that blocks the hole on the strip of the door. So that should remain in place until there is a safety drill that needs to take place, and then you can remove the magnet in order to close the door and keep it locked so there is no fumbling with keys. So these are a couple different drills that we may see. A fire drill, you take the emergency folder with you, the students are quiet, follow evacuation paths. When outside, take attendance immediately, holding up the green sign to make sure that everything is good. If a student is missing, don't worry, just please tell us. They might have been in the bathroom and the nurse, moving around for some sort of reason. This way we can account for all students. Evacuation, the students may do a bus evacuation. That is dealing with the bus drivers, so that wouldn't be with any in-school teachers. A school evacuation, we would get all the students on a bus and leave to a different location. And then we would take attendance throughout the way, making sure that we have everybody, and then return to the building as quietly as we can. A few different ones. I'm going to start with the shelter in place. The shelter in place is an announcement made to shelter in place to a specific location. May ask for the gym, you may ask for the cafeteria, may ask for a spot outside. Just getting everybody in one place as quickly as we can. Bringing emergency folders with you and taking attendance as often as you can. Lockdown and active shooter, a couple specific difference. A lockdown is if the doors are closed and locked and you can continue teaching. That is not an immediate threat in the building. It is something that we just want to keep everyone contained as much as we can, and then wait for a notification to open the doors. An active shooter, it is an immediate threat within the building. So the doors are closed and locked and you're hidden in a corner not to be seen from the door or the window. Remember to remain silent and waiting for a notification to reopen. Each of you will sign a form that looks like this to say that we went through our training today and we talked about a variety of things. We talked about harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We talked about new procedures and policies for COVID-19. Understanding that we will be held to professional standards, and that if at any time you are unable to maintain a safe and orderly environment, you will be removed as a substitute in the district. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Make sure that we're completing each of the forms that were sent to you in the email. Thank you so much for your interest in Berkeley Township Schools. We wish you a successful year. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you again for being here today and listening to this. And again, any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much.